My daughter does this very cute thing. Every time she drops a plate or a glass, she screams, "I'm okay, I'm okay." And every time she does that, I feel like saying, "Hey, baby, don't try and rob me. What about that glass and what about that plate?" But when she does that, I think she's inadvertently inviting me to think very carefully about what is important, the glass or her well-being. There are two constructs that I want to talk to you about that are related but slightly different, that I think as leaders we need to foster and cultivate in these tough times. The first one is psychological safety, and the second one is perceived organizational support. Psychological safety is the idea that as an employee, do I feel safe to raise divergent views, to ask questions, to admit mistakes when I've made them, to my leader or to the organization in which I work. And as a leader, it's absolutely critical to foster a culture that has psychological safety. Without it, there can never be innovation, creativity, there can never be experimenting. As people fear punishment, they can't even explore and try new things. So as a leader, you want to try and make sure that you foster that psychological safety. And how you do that is very interesting. I mean, one of the things that you can try and do is to seek out divergent views in your team. Ask them for different views. Ask them to differ with you. Ask them for alternative viewpoints. Ask them to hold you accountable. Ask them when you've made a mistake to hold you accountable and raise those things that they need to raise. They can raise them in private, but they need to raise them. The second construct is perceived organizational support. This is slightly different. It refers to the idea that employees need to feel that they are being supported for their emotional and psychological well-being. Do they feel subjectively? Do they feel that they are supported? And you need to foster this perceived organizational support as a leader as well, because you are the agent of the organization. And there's a few ways this can show up. One of them is to do exactly what I've said in the story that I started with. When people make mistakes, instead of going after them, just ask them if they're okay. Look after their well-being, support them. And with this working from home, where people feel isolated and they can feel more pressure to be seen to be working, just check in with people and not try to check them out. Check in means you ask them, how are you doing with that project? Do you need any support? Do you need any resources? I'm here. Do you need to bounce things off me? Checking them out means to call them, checking whether they're online, sending them emails, and seeing if they respond quickly. We don't need leaders who are trying to check us out or catch us out, but we need those who will check in with us. So creating a culture or an environment that involves both psychological safety and perceived organizational support is absolutely critical as a leader in these tough times. Please try and do that, and you will see that if you do that right, employees will give you discretionary effort. They will go beyond the call of duty. It is your move as a leader to create it. It is your move as a leader to give trust and to show people that you trust them, and you show people that you support them, and you show people that you will not punish them for mistakes, for raising questions, or for raising divergent views. You need to do that, especially in these tough times. My name is Siphiwe Moyo. I'm an Organisational Behaviour Specialist.